First teacher interview here at Mass Community Charter School. Our first subject is the wonderful Miss Leah Beck.
Woo! That's me.
So let's start with a very simple question. How are you today?
I'm good. I really enjoyed that day off that we had yesterday. I got some
course.
extra sleep, made some breakfast, did not any work, brought some home, decided I wasn't going to do it. You know how that goes.
So let's start at the very beginning, which is a very good place to start. What was your childhood like?
Well, I was born in Bucks County when I was, an infant born. And I was an only child, still am. I went to Neshaminy, one of the elementary schools in Neshaminy, hung out with all my friends. I was a nerd, shocking no one. I read a lot as a kid.
Don't worry, get into the pop culture questions eventually.
Oh, no. I used to get punished and sent to my room, and then my parents realized when I got sent to my room I was just going up and reading, and I would get in trouble on purpose to go to my room and read, so they would make me sit on the stairs with my hands under my butt and not touch anything when I was in trouble, so I wouldn't go read. Yeah. Explains a lot about me as a person.
You know, it really does. Well, you don't have any siblings, so that question's redundant.
Oh yes, no siblings, just animals.
So, you were talking about school. What was your school experience like? Like your high school and your college experience? So
when I was in high school, I was in basically every extracurricular ever, essentially. I was in marching band, I was in choir, I did GSA, I did German Honor Society, National Honor Society, I was in the literary club, I played softball for a little while, and then that was not for me long term. So I was really busy. Like senior year, I was at school on Mondays from, the beginning of the day until 10 p.m. because of everything I was doing. Which was great. I thrive on being busy. I really enjoyed that in high school.
Now you said 10 p.m. like
yes,
at night.
Yes, because I had marching band right after school until 5:30, and then I had a short break, and then I had choir rehearsal from 7:30 to 10.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
Well. And what was college like?
College was great. I went to a really, really small school called McDaniel. Go Green Terror. It had less students than my high school, which was, I went to a huge high school, I went through Council Rock, so it was a really interesting experience going and having such a small campus, which was nice for me. I had small classes. My music theory 2 class was only 4 kids in total. My biggest class was only 28. It was great, and I like to, talk and answer questions, so I enjoyed the small school experience. I was in a sorority in college, which surprises a lot of people,
really,
including me and my family.
I don't even know what a sorority is. So.
It's a Greek organization. I was friends with a lot of the girls. They were English majors with me, so I joined. We did a lot of philanthropy, community service, stuff like that.
So if you had to pick one memory from your high school and college experience, what would it be? Like your favorite memory from all of high school and college?
All of high school and college. Like I can pick, okay. Meeting my best friend, Diana. She pledged her freshman year. It was my junior year. I was her pledge mom. So basically, we had all these newbies, and I was the one that taught them everything, which, shocker, I know, I was an ed minor. And we've been best friends ever since. That's her up there. Her son is my nephew, and yeah, so we always say that meeting each other was our best memory from college.
Now, what made you decide to be a teacher?
I don't know, I just always was going to be one. My mom was a teacher, I grew up with it.
Oh, right, I've heard.
Yeah, it really was just what I was going to teach. That was really the only question. When I went to college, I started as a music ed major. I was going to teach music, and then, they said you have to teach K through 12, and I was like, I refuse to teach tiny children. I guess I'm changing my major. And I was talking with one of my old high school teachers over a break, and I said, what would you think if I decided to be an English teacher? And she said, I have been waiting for you to ask me that question since you were in my class in 11th grade. I think you should do it. I always thought you should do it. And so with her support behind me, I changed my major sophomore year and decided to teach English instead.
So finally on your teaching career, what was your very first ever teaching job?
Ooh, I taught at a high school outside of Baltimore. My first year, I had freshmen, like a 9th and 10th grade mixed class, and then I had a 12th grade class. And I had some kids who were only a couple years younger than me, and I am a short person, and I used to get yelled at in the hallways for cutting class all the time, and I was like, I work here, it's fine, I'm wearing a name tag, but it's cool. And they were an interesting group. I am actually still in touch with some of them today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get from that school to Mast?
Well, I'm from around here,
oh, okay.
And I knew I didn't want to stay in Maryland. No offense to Maryland, but...
No offense to Maryland.
And so I just decided to bite the bullet. I started grad school at LaSalle, moved back in with my parents for a little while.
Hey.
Janice did love that. Janice still kind of wishes I lived at home. And, you know, did some long-term subbing, was working at Starbucks. Randomly, weird story, I lived with a girl at the time who also worked at Starbucks with me, and she had to open, and I wasn't in for about 2 hours until after she opened, but we drove together. So I was like, I'll just go down early, I'll do some job applications, I'll do some homework for school at 5 in the morning.
Right.
And when I logged on, there was a job posting from Mast, and I was there, and I was like, all right, I'll apply for this job. Don't really know anything about this school, no offense. And I got the call, I think the next day to come in for an interview. I think, yeah, it was really quick. So I always say that if I hadn't gotten up early and, you know, because I didn't feel like driving is really why I went with her, I never would have seen that posting and probably wouldn't be here.
Starbucks, like, real quick.
Cool.
Since you mentioned it.
I worked at Starbucks in New Hope, which is a really kind of nice, touristy, artsy, upper class town.
Oh.
So everyone, for the most part, was really nice. I actually still talk to some of my regulars,
Oh,
like
wow.
my Facebook friends. Yeah, I met some of my really close friends working there. It was good. I was really caffeinated while I worked there. I would drink like 8 shots of espresso a day.
Good for you. Now, you get to Mast. What was your first year at Mast like? Because I know you didn't start out teaching what you do now.
Well, some of what I teach now I did. When I started here, I was actually split 8th and 9th grade. So I taught an 8th grade class. I had them 2 sections. I had them the whole year, the current juniors. Hey, guys. And I taught 1 9th grade class, the current seniors. And then the second semester, so I had Lit A and then Lit B, but I had 8th grade the whole year. And then there was a period where I was supposed to teach 7th grade.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know.
7s are tough.
They're interesting.
Yeah.
And then over that summer, you know, Mrs. Santiago said, hey, we had some changes, you know, would you be willing to teach all high school? And I said, of course. And so then that next year I still had my 9th grade. I've always taught 9th grade here. But then I added in my World Lit class. And then last year they asked me about opening up the Shakespeare elective. So now that's sort of what my schedule
So
is like.
if I'm correct, you have a World Lit, Lit A, well, you taught Lit.
Yeah, this year was a little different. Instead of World Lit, I taught Lit C, the 10th grade course.
Oh, right.
We had to shift some stuff because, you know, Miss Spellman and her baby throwing a wrench into plans and Mr. Geller getting that job.
Yeah.
But usually, yeah, I have 9th and 11th. But I always teach Lit A and B.
So what's your Shakespeare class? Talk a little bit about that and how.
Well, the Shakespeare class it's a history of theater. We do some acting work in it with a focus on Shakespeare. Right now we just started some sonnets and we're doing some history of theater presentations. I do too. And we're going to be putting on the 30-minute Midsummer in the later part of the spring for the 8th graders. We're going to do a little show. So it's just a nice way to do not just the literary analysis, but the acting and then the technical theater side of things. We go through all the production roles as well.
Alright, so speaking of Shakespeare, let's talk about the 2 clubs you run. First with the Shakespeare Club, and how did that start out?
Deanna Liga and Brendan Lash, who are giant nerds. We all know this.
Yes.
After their freshman year, they approached me with this idea of starting a Shakespeare Society, asking if I would be the advisor, and I said yes. We had no idea what was going to happen with it, if anyone would show up, if it would even run. And it's been really successful so far. We have a lot of dedicated kids who, even if they don't love Shakespeare, they like the vibe, they like, you know, some of the fun stuff we do.
And of course, that Shakespeare Club leads into the play, and of course you're doing 12th night this year.
Yes, we are.
Last year. How did, like, the aspect of starting a production really start?
So I've always been a musical director. I've taught the music for shows. I've never done, well, not at that point, hadn't done straight stage directing. It's fine. And so after the 30-minute Midsummer we did a few years ago, the kids, we had a great time. We really enjoyed it. I heard a song. I was listening. It's such a weird story. I was listening to music, and it was an Ed Sheeran song called Tenerife Sea, which I really like that song. And in my head, I just had this entire staging of the party scene of Romeo and Juliet when they first meet. In my head, it just like popped in there because I'm like that. And from there, it just became hey, what if we try and do a show, meeting with people, trying to get it off the ground. Miss Santiago was super supportive about it. She really liked the idea. Mr. Sawyer, also a secret nerd. Well, not secret, we all know. You know,
we know.
Superheroes, Shakespeare. And then it ended up being a 1920s theme, and we used none of the music that inspired me to direct Romeo and Juliet in the first place, which is kind of funny. But that's sort of how it started, and then because it was successful and the kids really liked it, and we had a good showing. It was a small showing, but that's not so odd for a Shakespeare show. They gave us approval to do it again, so we shifted from tragedy to comedy for this year.
I do have to say, I did see Romeo and Juliet, and it was fantastic. You did a great job. Now, you do another club as well, the GSA. Now, how did that start out?
So I was in the Gay Straight Alliance when I was in high school. I worked with our allies group when I was in college. It's a huge part of my life, always has been. So basically everywhere I go as an educator, I end up doing something with a GSA. I also used to volunteer at the Rainbow Room in Doylestown with one of my best friends, doing like small team lectures and series about different activities. And so when I started here, there was a club, someone else ran it. But the kids said they didn't really have meetings, it wasn't really a club, and so they, same as Shakespeare, they said, hey, would you mind taking it over? And I said, yeah, of course I would.
And then, of course, before we move on to personal stuff, we have to talk about your best friend, Mr. Barish.
Oh, Mr. Barish.
Now, how did you two?
I'll grab the candle.
I've been staring at the candle the whole interview.
When Mr. Barish left, Gabe Bradshaw made me this candle with his face on it, and I said it looked like he had died, but it makes me laugh, so I still have it. We have a little fake. Oh, it's dead now. Never mind. Oh, there it goes.
There we go.
So it lights up. It smells like cinnamon. So
just
that
is
the candle.
Okay.
Yeah, Kayla gave me this for Christmas one year. Yes. So that's something that exists in my classroom along with all of my other weird stuff.
Now we get to the fun part.
Oh no.
Your favorite blanks. All right.
Okay.
We'll start with food. What is your favorite food?
Avocados.
Avocados.
Yes, I could eat any avocado in any form. Guacamole on its own with some hot sauce, sliced up in a salad.
Biting into an avocado.
No, I do not bite into.
Well, I
gotta peel it first and scoop it out.
I don't know how you eat an avocado.
They're delicious. They're really good. I'm weird.
Favorite movie?
Say Anything with John Cusack. I love that
the one
movie with the boombox. There will be a boombox moment in 12th Night since it's an 80s themed. So
I was for Halloween one year. I was an 80s rapper. And I had one of those giant boomboxes with me, and I went over to the friend's house. We were trick or treating out. I was like, "Hey, Kelsey!"
Did you have a giant gold chain on as well?
Yes.
Perfect. Love it. We'll have you do costumes for the show.
Yes, I would love that. Favorite TV show?
Ooh. So
Take your time.
that's a hard one. Recently, we've been binging Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We just got Hulu, so we were binging Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then we realized we were caught up. Like, we watched all of Brooklyn
I hate when
Nine-Nine.
that happens.
That show was excellent, though. I love The Good Place right now. That's one of my favorite shows on TV right now. But I don't know. I watch a lot of. You'll like this. I watch a lot of Monty Python's Flying Circus. I watch a lot of old, like, weird British comedy. I love Blackadder. But yeah, no, I don't. Oh, that's tricky. I like a lot of things.
This might also be tricky, especially for you. Favorite book?
Yeah, that is hard. I always say it's The Phantom Tollbooth because that's an easy answer, and I do love that book. Of the books I teach,
Ooh, yes, that would be good.
so I love teaching To Kill a Mockingbird. I love teaching Macbeth. Macbeth is probably one of my favorite
And that's
things
coming
to
up
teach
this
ever.
year.
Yes, I'm starting it with my 9th graders tomorrow, day 1.
So am I.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You're in 9th grade.
So now this is more for you. Favorite Shakespeare play other than Macbeth?
So I did my master's thesis on Hamlet, so I have just a soft spot in my heart for Hamlet. I always will. He is, as a character, so annoying and whiny, but I love him so much. Other than that, I really, really like King Lear. It's another really great tragedy.
Musical.
Favorite musical, Pippin.
Pippin.
100%. I love Pippin.
Yeah, it's on here. Video game. You probably have no answer.
Video games.
It was on the list.
Bowling. I don't know how to
Bowling.
play video games. I never had them. Well, actually, I used to play Sonic the Hedgehog at my friend's house back in the 90s. I was not good at it. I'm the one who moves the controller. Like, I don't understand what the buttons do.
So you just...
It's bad. Yeah, I can't even use... We use a PS4 as our DVD player.
Oh.
And I can't even use the controller to work the DVD. It's bad. It's really
That's funny.
bad. Yeah, so any Wii sport is great.
And then, real quick lightning round, least favorite. Food.
I've never eaten shrimp because I'm afraid of it.
Okay. Movie. Least favorite this time.
Any horror movie. I don't do
Okay.
horror.
TV show.
You know what?
Just guess.
No, people are gonna fight me for this. I cannot stand the show Friends.
I'm sorry, there's another person in the room right
I'm
now.
sorry, I just don't think it's funny. I really don't. I don't get it.
I wish we had a camera on her face. She just was like,
Yeah, I'm gonna get hate mail.
oh yeah,
It's
we
fine.
can edit this part out.
Yeah.
Right.
Miss Beck definitely didn't say Friends.
Song.
Least favorite song. This is the song that never ends. I'm not singing it.
Okay, that's fine.
Google it.
After the interview. Shakespeare play.
Least favorite Shakespeare
Yes.
play? Taming of the Shrew. That play is garbage.
Okay.
Sorry.
Did we read Taming the Shrew in book club? Well,
No, but we talked about how I think it's garbage.
Okay. Oh, that's it. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I distracted you.
No, it's a musical.
Least favorite musical, Cats.
I thought you were going to say Annie, but
No, I do not dislike Annie. I really do not like Cats.
yes.
And again, there are a couple teachers in the building who I don't really like it, so I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. And then this might be the hardest for you or easiest book.
Least favorite book.
Yes.
What was that book called? I had to read a book in grad school.
What was that book?
I'm trying to remember. I think it started with a T. That tells you how much I
Taming of
really
the Shrew?
enjoyed. No, it was in my 20th century British lit class, and it was something. I think it was something with tar in the name, and I hated it, and I didn't even finish it.
Oh.
And I told my professor, I hate this book, I'm not going to finish it. And he was my advisor, like he knew me really well, and he was like, yeah, I know you, you're not actually going to finish this if you say that, so he let me read something else instead.
Now, I should have brought this up during the clubs, but you also run the Shakespeare Book Club.
I do.
And how did that start?
That started because I am a nerd and wanted to read more Shakespeare plays, and so did some students, and we said, what if we met during Flex and read Shakespeare plays? That's literally how it started.
Okay, that works. And now, the most important part of all.
Okay.
Please tell us about your cats.
Oh, my cat. So I have two cats. Their names are Malcolm and Nancy Norris.
Is that a reference to anything?
Yes, so Malcolm is named after the character in the Macbeth play,
Okay.
one of Duncan's sons, who he's a little bit boring, but he's a good guy. He has a very interesting scene towards the end of the play that I really enjoy. And then Nancy Norris is named after a children's book, but when I adopted her, they're both rescues.
Okay.
When I adopted her, she was a kitten though. And we were trying to name her. I was living at my parents' house at the time. When I bought my house, I had to kind of like stay there for a little bit while my house was getting moved out of. And we couldn't figure out what to name her, so we would just yell names at her. Just yell random names. Like my mom would be like, Susan, Loretta. And one time I just went, Nancy, and she perked up and ran across the room to me. And I was like, okay, you named yourself, your name is Nancy. That is the weirdest cat name ever, but okay. And my mom started calling her Noisy Nancy Norris, which is the name of a children's book I liked as a kid, because my cat, Nancy, is, she's annoying. She's super annoying. I love her, but she's very annoying. So their names are literary references.
Of course.
But no, Malcolm's my little baby. I have a picture of him back there. Nancy's crazy and never lets us sleep. And then we have a dog as well.
I was about to say we have a name for pets.
Yeah.
What's your dog's name?
Her name is Bug. She's also a rescue. She's
Good
part
rescue.
beagle, part chihuahua, part we don't even know what else. She's terrified of the cats, even though I don't know why. Yeah, she won't walk down the hallway if Malcolm is laying there.
Wow.
Yeah, and Malcolm knows it, so he sometimes will just lay on the floor and stare at her, and she will just cry in the corner. It's very interesting.
A couple fun questions here real quick. If you could go anywhere in the world, or that doesn't even exist, where would you go? Like anywhere. You could go anywhere from any fixed point in the universe, and
So I have to travel there, or do I get there automatically?
like that.
And I won't die on the way?
No.
Okay, I want to go to space, somewhere in space.
Anywhere in space.
Yeah, just in space. Apollo 13 scarred me as a child, so I'm
Really?
convinced if I go to space, I'll die. Yeah, that movie was very... I shouldn't have seen that at the age I did. It really, it messed with me a little bit. But if I could go anywhere without any threat of doom, I would go into space.
Favorite holiday?
Halloween.
Oh yeah, one of our
Halloween.
Halloween.
Followed by Thanksgiving, because I love food.
Yes, you do love food.
I really love
I'm sorry, you just do.
I do, I know what I'm about. I'm chaperoning formal for the food.
Oh yeah. Favorite mass memory so far?
Honestly, well, all of Romeo and Juliet last year, including all of the horrible stuff that happened, like our stage manager going to the hospital.
Wait, what happened there? I can edit this out, but please.
Oh, okay. So Deanna was our stage manager.
Yeah, I'll edit
and
this out.
The second show. So we had our Friday night show, and then we had our Saturday night show of her first weekend. And she had to go to the hospital, and
Why?
Because she was really sick.
Oh.
And I told her, I said, listen, I emailed her dad and said, if she tells you that I said she has to come to this, she's lying. Like, that didn't happen. So we had no stage manager. So one of our actors, Kelly McGlynn, who was Romeo's mom, so she's only in like 2 scenes.
Right.
So she was in the opening scene, and then she would run up to the mezzanine and run one of the spotlights. That was her job during the show. So Deanna gets sick. We're like, who can we have do it? So we decided Kelly could step in. And she did a great job, even though she didn't know what she was doing. But then we had no one to run a spotlight. So former Mass graduate, Zach Galoza, who happened to be home from college that weekend and was there to see his brother Jeremy perform, Zach ran one of our spotlights, having never run a spot before and having never seen my lighting cue script. So it was just me in the booth running the light board and the sound, just flailing my arms around anytime we needed a change so he could find it because he had no idea what was going on. And yeah, it was a lot. It was fun though. It worked out.
You want me to edit that out?
I don't care.
Okay. It's just all going on.
Whatever you need. Kelly, you rock.
So Romeo and Juliet sounded like it was a fun time.
Oh, it was something.
It was something.
It was simultaneously the most fun I've had working here and the most stressful moments of my life.
Stressful moments of your life.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Anything else you want to say to the camera before we wrap up this interview?
I don't think so. I'm sorry for how my voice sounds on camera.
No, you sound well.
I have a
sounds
man
fine.
voice.
Your voice sounds fine.
Thank you.
Actually, can we? You have a very. I don't want to say weird.
You can say weird.
You have a weird board.
I do. I have an odd collection of things.
Oh, I thought of some new favorite questions.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Band.
Oh God.
Well,
Favorite music is another one of those questions, like favorite.
I saw the Beatles.
I do love the Beatles. I do. I listen to everything. I'm not a huge country music fan.
Who is?
Except for classic country like Dolly Parton, Forever. I listen to a lot of Baroque and classical music. I listen to a lot of metal music because of my boyfriend. I love 90s pop punk. Maybe that's my favorite genre of music. I'm a big fan of 90s pop punk. It's a very specific time period of my life.
This was I don't know how long this is, but this was an interview of sorts with Miss Beck.
What a great sign-off.
This
was an interview.
Join me next time where we interview, I don't know.
Hello everyone.